Hey man, I've been grinding, been slowly but surely, hitting my workouts, staying up to date on it, man, and just staying focused day by day. Create the systems, man, so you don't fail. It's not really about the goals; it's about the systems that you create to make sure that you continue to be your best self and continue to show up. That's what you got to do. Balance out your life. It's not about perfection. It's not about, you know, any of that. What you want to make sure that you're doing is you're doing the little things day by day to continue to get better and continue to do what you need to do. All right, man. You already know. We got another one for you. So today, man, yep, y'all saw the topic. And this actually came out what's today, the 15th? I think it was like February 6th. So almost 2 weeks ago. Now, I didn't talk about it last week because personally I need to get more information. I'm not one of those that just kind of jump out there and want to be the first to talk about something just because it's hot. It is a hot topic. It's very hot. But I wanted to talk about the financial pillar today, right? So, talking about Floyd Mayweather suing Showtime for $340 million. $340 million. And I want to just talk about, the scary truth about your money. We're going to tie all this together. But the news was Floyd Mayweather filed a massive lawsuit against Showtime and Steven Espinoza for $340 million. He claims his earnings from massive fights, Pacquiao and McGregor, which we know those are probably the two biggest fights of all time as far as generating money. Um, what he's saying is money was diverted into hidden accounts controlled by his former advisor, Al Heyman, right? And so that's kind of a tough thing. So he's basically saying 340 million that he made, right? And it's crazy because how does a man who's nicknamed himself Money and earned over 1.2 billion in his career end up missing 340 million dollars? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. It's also one of the things I know Showtime reported um, that Mayweather's team, that they actually lost the files in a flood. So them trying to figure out where everything is, and so um, they're saying that all of basically that documentation of those fights, the money, the ledgers, they've all been lost at this point. So I'm not sure how this is all going to play in court, but how how do you overstep or miss $340 million? I'm not sure. And another thing is, of course, there's allegedly, what people are saying is that Mayweather is going broke, right? Mayweather's going broke. Now, let's be clear. Mayweather broke is not our broke. You know what I'm saying? Mayweather broke is not our broke. Mayweather being broke would be probably him, having 20 to $30 million after he probably, liquidated all his assets. He wouldn't be broke. But one thing that we know is that he should have definitely changed up his lifestyle. We see it with athletes all the time that, of course, is one thing when you're making the money and the money is coming in, right? But it's another when you stop making the type of money that you were making. We're talking about somebody, especially on the probably the last, I want to say 5 to 6 years when he was fighting. I mean, the least he was making was $50 million a fight. Like, I want people to let that sink in, and he's fighting twice a year typically. And, so probably when you think about how much he made, like the last 5 years of his fighting career, he probably just in those 5 years generated about $700,000. I want to say, just in those, because he was money, he was Money Mayweather. Anytime he got in the ring, he was walking away with a minimum of 50 million. So I want that to set into your mind. And so now maybe they did lose his 340 million. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe he knew and it's like, okay, now I need the money. Um, I'm going to go after it. So now he's definitely, going to seek the money to get paid. You know, one thing that we have to understand, right? There's a lesson in this. High income does not equal financial security, right? You can be the best offensive earner in the world and still have a trouble, defensively when it comes to your money, right? So we have to make sure that we set up things. And now, like I said, with Mayweather, even if he was broke, or quote unquote, Mayweather's broke isn't the regular person's broke, right? He's still gonna be a millionaire at the end of the day, even if he starts to liquidate every single thing that he has. So let's keep that 100% because the man has property. So even if he had to sell all his Bugattis, he had to sell some of his homes, uh, I know he has real estate, skyscrapers, I know in New York. Um, a lot of that is going on. So I'm pretty sure if he liquidates, I know they just talked about him being countersued, as well, because there was I guess, a penthouse in New York that he was renting that was $100,000 a month, and he ended up being about 6 months behind. And before he realized it, they reached out to him, and he was kind of confused on what are you talking about? So apparently, he's paid them half of the money, but he hasn't paid them the rest from what he was behind. And so he's being sued for about 300 and I think $30,000 for that. And then also he's getting sued by a jeweler that he had $1.6 million in jewelry that he acquired from them. And of course, he's been getting that from them, been purchasing jewelry. So he's good for it. He's going to get it to us. But apparently, he's only paid about $300,000 of that, jewelry price tag. So they're also suing him. Not sure. It's allegedly. We'll see. So of course, that's also part of the reason why people think that he's, kind of going broke. Um, he spends a lot of money, and he's earned the right to spend a lot of money.